Hey there, it's Damon the Drone Boss, and we're here with another drone cast, and we have a special guest for you, Cuatro, with Cosmic Drone Services, my man here. And Cuatro, you specialize in really focusing on and helping realtors, both on the commercial and the residential side.
That's correct.
To sell their houses faster, more money, and the biggest thing I think is to get more listing appointments, which I think a lot of people miss out on. And so it's an honor to have you here.
Thank you, Damon. Honored to be here with you.
Yeah, I'm stoked to hear about some of the stuff you're doing. I know that there's a new phenomenon with this new technology we have of these virtual tours, but you specifically use one called
Scenescape 360.
Yeah, so Scenescape 360, and you were telling me about this, and the cool thing is you're incorporating aerial 360 tours with ground 360 tours and making this complete interactive, never before seen to the end user experience, right?
Absolutely. And in addition to that, we also provide internal inside the facility or the house or the commercial establishment, a 360 virtual tour that's interactive as well.
Yeah, and one thing that really sets you apart, because there's a lot of guys in the real estate realm, that are doing virtual tours. Mm-hmm. But the two things that you have that almost no one has is you're incorporating the aerial, which
Correct.
gives an unbelievable perspective to clients on they can now go outside the property and see, oh, there's a lake here, or there's a river here, or, oh, Chick-fil-A's 2 miles that way, or, the mall's here, or the airport's here. So they can see all that. And not only are they in control of moving it around and seeing it, but they can bounce from different areas that you've mapped out for them and jump right into the house and know exactly where they are in the house. Sure. And the biggest benefit I think you provide is you use really high-tech equipment, LiDAR.
Absolutely.
So now these potential homeowners can go in and they can measure like exactly, hey, this is with centimeter accuracy, how many inches this is from there, or hey, my 100-inch TV, am I going to be able to fit it in above the fireplace?
Exactly. I had a client that has a really long table. It's almost 30 feet. Oh, wow. It's amazing. It was made out of a piece of cypress, and that thing, you got to figure out, will it fit or will it not? And so he was moving to a new house. And I said, hey, the nice thing about what I provide is the interactive ability to measure those areas, both on the floor plan, but also in the actual picture itself.
Right.
So if you have a wall, you can actually click on the wall, click to here, and it's really interactive, and it gives you, like you say, centimeter accurate level of precision. So it's pretty good stuff.
Which is so cool because homeowners didn't have that ability before.
No.
And like in this guy's case with this 30-foot table, I mean, that's probably, obviously, if that came up to you, that's going to be one of the pre-qualifiers he has for any house he's going to look at.
Right.
And so instead of having to send a realtor to all these houses or him go out to all these houses and try and measure all this, he can just go online and see all the properties that you've done and measure it and say, okay, it won't fit here, it will fit here. So the will fits are, let's go look at these.
Yeah, and it's important because something that size, you only want to move it one time.
Yeah.
And put it in place when you got it. So that's really critical for him to figure that out. And this, the ability to do that in 360 is amazing.
Yeah, that's so cool. And the other features that you're doing, I know you're working with some builders, and you're offering X-ray, which I thought was really cool. And this is where you're going in and you're basically doing that same 360 tour of everything with centimeter grade accuracy prior to the sheetrock going up. So you know where every wire, every pipe, every drain, every gas line, everything is.
And we can go in and tag those features. And in that tag, we can take a picture of it. Some of those facility features, like a big panel for your electrical, now has QR codes on it to tell you about, what your serial number is on that, what year it was built, and all that. So you can now capture that. That homeowner has that, and they can always go back to it and shoot their phone on it and figure out, oh, this is an older unit, or here's the company that made it. We need to contact them. So it's really helpful.
That's fantastic. I mean, you think about that with water heaters and with all that stuff in there, and then you've got, I mean, that's pretty cool. And
in addition to that, it's really good for the various stages of building, because say you have an electrician that's going to come in, he needs to pull a permit for that. And in that permit application, you have to tell it exactly where you're going to put everything. And this allows him to take this floor plan, which is very accurate, and use that to describe and document where he's going to put all those things. So it's a really super feature.
That is awesome. I think every single listing should have that.
Well, I would agree.
Well, and it's crazy. I was reading a report that, there's several reports, and depending which report you read, somewhere between 7 and 9% of real estate listings even use aerial imagery.
Right.
So for a realtor that doesn't have all the business they want, I mean, you could easily, just by incorporating aerial imagery, you're ahead of 90% of your competition there.
Absolutely. It gives them a leg up. It really showcases what they provide or what they have on their listings. And like you say, not everybody does that. And so you can set yourself apart from the whole group of realtors out there.
Yeah, just by doing that. And then you add in your Synscape 360, less than 1%.
That's icing on the cake.
Of listings have that. I mean, and you talk about blowing your clients. Well, and that's exactly how these realtors are improving their listing conversions,
Correct.
Right? Because or listing appointment conversions. Because typically, if a realtor goes out and sees 10 potential clients, 10 listing appointments to earn their business, why that customer should give that realtor the house to list with them, they usually get about 2 or 3 out of those 10. Is kind of the national average there. But when they're offering a drone package with you, a marketing package with aerial imagery, aerial video, and the Synscape 360, they're converting 7 to 8. So the same effort, the same 10 appointments they would have, they've gone from 2 listings to potentially 8 listings.
Puts more money in their pocket, moves inventory.
Yeah,
great things about that.
Just by offering that, they just added 400%
to their bottom line.
To the bottom line by getting the same effort, but they just increase their listings. And again, it blows my mind that more realtors aren't using that. So it's awesome you offer that service to them.
In addition to that, I also offer podcasts to those realtors so they can even further market their services. So lots of things out there to provide for realtors in order for them to showcase what they do.
So let me ask you this: why are you're offering all these services and things to benefit these realtors and stuff? What's the motivation? I know that you were talking about, well, by highlighting the properties in the best light, then it attracts better homeowners, better clientele, better buyers. So you end up with a higher caliber of person in your community. Sure. It also increases the ticket price, which increases the property values of everyone around them, which ultimately has a ripple effect into the community because now there's more money in the community. People are spending more money. The values are more, and it just up-levels the whole community. Yep. Besides that, if there is anything else, what are the other reasons that you're doing all this for these guys?
Well, you hit the number one reason right there. I love helping my community. I live in a smaller community. I live in Kerrville, Texas, so I'm happy to help folks there. I grew up in that area, so it's dear to my heart. So that's pretty simple. But I also service the greater San Antonio area as well.
Okay, so kind of all mid-Texas essentially,
yes,
and I know you've done projects out of state and stuff, so you're willing to travel?
Sure, absolutely not a problem.
Okay.
Back to loving to help people, not only locally but extensively.
Right. Well, awesome. And I know, so and the same thing carries over with the Synscape 360 under construction.
Yes.
And there are tons of advantages with that. Sure. From the drone. I know you're doing the drone progression stuff for construction projects. So the main benefits that gives them is, number one, they can see exactly where they are tracking. So when it comes to getting their draws or their payments on the loans, they have documented data that when they say we're at 75%, here's the data. There's no argument saying, oh, you're only at 60%. And the banks aren't having to, or the developers aren't having to get additional loans to bridge that gap there because they're getting paid right there. The banks, once they have all this data, they're more prone to approve the stuff almost instantly. They're not having to wait a week or to have a bank inspector come out and inspect this stuff. And the cool thing about it is this technology, you're able to do something that no human can do by capturing geospecific images.
Yes.
And do it every week or month or quarter, whatever the client wants. So now they can track the progression of not only the whole build, but safety issues. If there, God forbid, any kind of accident out there.
All right.
There's an OSHA investigation.
Sure.
Now you've got all the documentation to say, hey, look, they had all the safety equipment always available
Right.
based on all this documentation. And, here's, that